Hello and welcome to Hero Movement. This is the first video in a new series I've been putting together called the Hero Foundation series. So what's it all about? It's essentially going back to basics and looking at the foundational habits and practices that underlie a healthy, active lifestyle. So if you're someone who's maybe just starting out on this journey, maybe you want to be a little bit healthier or move a little bit better and start creating a life that you want to live, then this series is aimed at you. So hopefully we can help you put some of the pieces of the puzzle together and get you moving forwards. But even if you have been doing this thing for a while and you kind of have a good idea of what you're doing and where you're heading, it's still really important to go back to basics on a regular basis. So there's a quote from a movement coach, Carl Parley, and I posted this on Instagram earlier this week, and he says that no matter how advanced you are, the only way to improve is by going over the basics. This is something I've experienced a lot in my own life. So with martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no matter what belt grade you are and how long you've been doing it, you get better by revisiting and drilling the basic moves, the basic patterns. The same with movement training. It's the basic movement patterns, the squat, the hip hinge, the hang, push and pull. They form that foundation that then allows you to move on to more advanced stuff if you want to. And the same goes for any other aspect of healthy living. And that's something I've kind of faced on quite a regular basis over the past sort of 5 or 6 years. So I've had a few sort of underlying health niggles, and they force me quite often to kind of start from scratch and to rebuild essentially. And it's always going back to those basic patterns, basic behaviors and habits that helps me kind of build things back up and get back on track. So this series is partly going to be about that. So what are some of the things that I do on a regular basis to help form or reform that foundation that I can then build upon. So one of the cool things about focusing on the basics is that it removes a lot of the decision fatigue and just stress that can come with information overload. Particularly if you're first starting out and you're not quite sure where to go, it can get really overwhelming and you just don't know. There's a million steps you could take and you don't know which one is going to be the best one for you. So if you're not careful, you can end up getting really caught up on minor details that if you were to take a step back and look at things from a whole, from the holistic point of view, it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference. So things like the exact percentage of carbs and protein and fat that you need to eat every day, or like the perfect kit that you need before you can go out running or out on your bike. Like in the grand scheme of things, these things don't really matter that much. They can have an impact, but if that foundation isn't there, then they're not really going to make that much of a difference. What often happens is these little minute details can become barriers, and because there's so many of them, there's so many potential little tweaks that we can make, we almost use them as a way of procrastinating, and it stops us from taking action and actually moving towards where we want to be. If we take Pareto's principle, the basics kind of represent the 80%, the things that are going to get you 80% of your results. And those minute details kind of fall into the 20%. So the good news is that you can kind of remove a lot of that unnecessary noise, at least in the beginning phase, and you can still get really good results if you just focus on the real simple basic principles. So healthy living doesn't have to be complicated if you don't want it to be. You can definitely layer on top some of the more complex things later on, but it's not necessary if you don't want to do that. On a similar note, that a lot of that complexity, if that's something that you do want to aim towards, or you want to work towards your one-arm handstand, or really dialing in your nutrition to like perfection almost, then if you haven't got that foundation, those things aren't going to be as effective as they would have if you did have the basics in place. So it's where a lot of people fall short. They want to move straight to level 100 without paying attention to like level 1, level 2, and moving up through the progression. So if they're looking for that one arm handstand, they're jumping into it before they've even built up the solid freestanding handstand, like a 2-arm version. Or they're looking to completely change their diet overnight to a really healthy way of eating, but going from kind of the standard Western diet. So they're just skipping out the in-between phases, and that's where a lot of people get caught up. They end up not having the success that they hoped they would, and they're back at square one, but just with a little bit less self-esteem. So if you think of a pyramid, you can't get that pyramid big and tall without first laying down the bottom layer and then the next one and building on top of that. So either way, whether you just want to form the basics of a healthy way of living, or you want to take things further and kind of work on the advanced stuff, the basics are the foundation and the things that we should be focusing most of our attention on. So what are we going to be exploring in the series? It's going to be the same or along the same lines as the other content on the channel and at heromovement.net. So we're going to be looking at movement and wellness and adventure, but everything is going to be stripped back. So just the complete basics, no overcomplicating things, no minor details or complexity, just simple, actionable ideas and principles that you can take away and apply to your life straight away. So we'll look at basic mobility and strength, posture and recovery techniques. We'll also dig into kind of the basics of nutrition, the real simple stuff to get you going, and then all the other foundational habits like meditation, sleep, journaling, community. Again, just the real basics and nothing complicated. So if that is something you're interested in, subscribe down below and you can keep updated with the series when a new episode comes out. And if you like this video, then if you give it a thumbs up, that would really help me out. Leave a comment down below if there's something that you would really like me to cover in this series, something that you want to work on, or you know a friend or a loved one would really need some help with, then let me know and I'll take it on board, and if I've got any ideas then I'll include them in the series. The next video in the series, the first proper one, will be up sometime next week, so stay tuned for that. And if you're watching this in January 2018, we're currently running a giveaway in partnership with Strength Shop UK. So there's £50 worth of mobility tools, foam rollers, mobility balls and mobility sort of resistance band. All really cool equipment, useful for maintaining your mobility and reducing your injury risk, improving performance, all that good stuff. So you can enter at heromovement.net/hero giveaway. I'll put the link in the description box below. So there's loads of different ways you can enter. They're all really easy and they gain you bonus entries into the draw. So that'll be finished at the end of January. So yeah, if you want to get involved, the link is in the description box below. So good luck. I will be back soon, and in the meantime, have a healthy, heroic week.